Okay, so one of the coolest hilarious references in the show is this sort of like antidepressant, like this Abilify commercial. Like, and it's funny because it's the modern day. You have all those medications with like 24 side effects. Like bleeding, butt leakage, like all this crazy things, and then like it's like for antidepressants or like herpes or something like that. But they had this commercial called like Nexus. It was antidepressant medicine. Wanda is depressed, but Nexus is a cool Marvel reference because it has to do with like universe altering things and like time bending and time travel kind of things. I don't know if you guys want to travel back to the 90s and watch the X-Men the animated series, but you could watch like those episodes where Bishop is dealing with different things with Apocalypse. There's like this place called the Nexus that is sort of in between time, and it has to do with the multiverse, really. And I think it's cool that they're throwing in like these deeper Marvel references and like those little commercials. And just as a Star Trek fan, the Nexus was a place in Star Trek where you could have, it's like a fantasy world where you could have all the things you want to happen come true. And Wandavision is very much about that. She's creating this world where she's living the perfect life that she wants to live, and she's trying to be happy. And in Star Trek, as well as like in Marvel being like this in-between place, it's a really, really awesome reference that they're putting Nexus in there. So I thought that was awesome. And I thought it was amazing when Billy, because he's Wiccan, he has Wanda's sort of mental witch-like capabilities. He basically says he can't get a read on Agatha. He's like, yo, I can't read you, like you're blank. And that's our first indication that Agatha sort of knows what's going on, or she's hiding her mental state, which is really, really, really crazy that Billy kind of called her out on it. But he said he liked how silent it was. The Doom Buggy is successful. It breaks through the hex barrier. Her powers activate. She sort of she tries to compel Wanda to give this whole thing up. And she's telling her, she has to deal with her grief in a real way, like everybody did who dealt with the snap. And Agatha's protecting her from this truth. Agatha's trying to persist in this illusion, in this hex. So Agatha takes her away from that. And then Wanda eventually, finds Agatha's dungeon and realizes she's a witch and she's a part of this whole thing. And then we see Agatha take us through all the moments where she was actually controlling Wanda from her perspective. I think it's cool that when the energy went up to show you how Agatha was changing and shape-shifting her appearance, like we didn't see her face. Because in the comic book, she's a real wicked, like old, like decrepit lady with like old hair, like gray hair. So I wonder if when we finally really get to see who she is, she looks like that Agatha that we know from the comic books. I think that's awesome. That we actually finally got some semblance of who our villain might be, which is pretty dope. Woo! So some things to note from this episode 7 are just more of the mystical aspects that we're getting into. I think the Marvel Universe definitely set itself up to be a place of science, but from Doctor Strange, we know that, magic exists. That's magic from the ancients, like elder magic, but we need to see more of that supernatural, spiritual magic come to place. I think that's where Agatha is sort of what she's gonna be for the Marvel Universe. Agatha Harkness, who just revealed herself in this episode, who for us more nerdy fans, we knew who that was. Honorable mentions from episode 6. I love how Tommy and Billy are manifesting their powers. I love that Billy is really honing into his mom's skill of being able to see things for what they really are. Like he knew Agatha felt quiet on the inside. Quicksilver making his return in the after credits means he might not just be a throwaway version. It means that we might get Peter as the real Pietro. I really hope it's not a throwaway kind of thing that Agatha sort of set up. And I don't know if Agatha is our real big bad. She might be the representation of whatever Mephisto might do if Mephisto's involved. And if you guys don't know, Mephisto is the Marvel devil. He makes a lot of deals and a lot of there's a lot of devilish stuff that gets people tied up. He has a lot to do with Doctor Doom in the comics. Definitely having things to do with House of M when Wanda is doing what she's doing in the show, in the comic books. So hopefully this opens up a whole new world of like mystical energy and aspects to Marvel to give us new villains to fight. like people from the Nightmare Dimension. You guys check that out. I'm not going to go into Nightmare Dimension today, but Marvel is much bigger than what the MCU has showed us. So hopefully Agatha is a doorway to that. Overall, this episode was great for expanding the universe. I thought episode 6 was much better because Evan Peters is awesome. But hopefully next week we get to see what Agatha's plan is for Wanda, what Agatha's trying to pull off, what she's trying to accomplish with Vision, and if this stuff has bigger ramifications into like the Marvel multiverse and what's going to happen next. I'm probably going to make some